Hi, Joe from PH Tennis, and these are my top 5 rackets. These are my own personal preference, the rackets that I would want to play with, the rackets that I love. In at number 5 is the Tecnifibre T-Fight 305. Now, this is very different to the other rackets that I chose, but there is one common theme, and it is fun. It's a really fun racket. A lot of weight in the head, so it swings through really fast, blast the ball around, have loads of fun with it. Look at Daniil Medvedev, he looks like he's having fun, right? Exactly. So the T-Fight comes in at number 5 because it's a load of fun, you get loads of power, and I really like it. In at number 4 is the first of quite a few Yonexes, and it's the Percept 97D. Now, this isn't as much fun as a T-Fight. There's no dressing it up, it's just not as much fun, but it's very, very precise. It's very, very good on control. You create enough power, you create enough topspin, and it's just terrific manufacturing. We'll get into some more of Yonex's manufacturing as we work through my favorite rackets. At number 3 in Joe's favorite rackets, it's Yonex again, and it is the VCORE 98. Now, I've deliberated between the VCORE 98 and the 98 Tour, the 100. The range is fantastic. The reason that I settle on the 98 is I think it checks the most boxes. So you've got loads of control, you've got plenty of spin, you get enough power with the 98, albeit there's slightly more with the 100. But the 98 kind of covers more bases. When playing with this, the level of pocketing and control that you get out of this racket is unmatched as far as I'm concerned. You can pick this racket up and play no matter who you are, no matter what your level, and I think that this racket is really impressive because it is probably the best all-round racket that I have come across. It doesn't matter your play style, you will find a way to really love this racket. So there it goes, in at number 3. In at number 2, and for those that know me, they might have predicted that this would have been very high in my rankings. And it's more Yonex, and we'll get to the reasons why it's more Yonex at the end, so hold tight for that. But in at number 2 is the Yonex EZONE 98, a racket that I played with for a long, long time. Great power, and to me it's so brilliant because it's the only power racket that truly gives you back some control. I think something like the Pure Drive can feel a little bit unwieldy, a little bit like a sledgehammer, a little bit difficult to maneuver, whereas you get much more maneuverability, much more responsiveness, and much better feel with an EZONE, and the 98 especially is a terrific racket. You may have noticed that there are a lot of Yonex in my top 5. Now this is for one particular reason, and whether it plays out in the actual play or whether it's just something that's in my mind, both are equally as valid. But the quality control and manufacturing of Yonex rackets is far more specific, far more controlled, and far more rigorous than any of the other brands. Most brands have if you take the weight for example, have a differential of 6 or 7 grams. So I could go into a shop and buy 2 of the same racket, and one could be 305 grams and one could be 310 grams. Big, big difference. Yonex only is a 2 gram difference. So if I go and buy 2 rackets, I could go and buy one in America, one in the UK, one in Australia, and there's only going to be a maximum of 2 grams difference between those rackets. And it's that level of quality and that level of thought and meticulousness that makes me love Yonex rackets so much. I can rely on them, I know that they're made with great care, great craft, and I think the quality of the rackets overall is testament to that. They feel better made to me than other rackets. Now, Yonex is the only brand with its own factory, so their quality control is on point all the time. If you enter into the factory, if you go into the parts where they're spray painting, you actually have to go through essentially airtight airbrush yourself down as if you would going into surgery or something like that. So you're absolutely free of dust, so you can't taint the process in any way. They are absolutely meticulous, and the result is beautiful, beautiful rackets. And that number 1 racket for me personally is the Yonex EZONE 98 Tour. With the Tour, we go up 10 grams in weight. The weight shifts slightly, giving more weight in the throat, giving sort of better stability. And that's what I really love. I like to be at the net and volley. I like to serve big. And I think that what the 98 Tour does better than the 98 is give you that added stability. You still get the power, you still get the easy access to that power. And I think especially when defending, one of the things that the EZONE in general does so brilliantly is on the defensive, you're able to shorten your swing, play defensively, still give it enough pop, enough power to get the ball going where you need it to go, with enough to get you back into rallies or stay in rallies or turn the tide in those rallies. That's why it's so impressive. What I did with my 98 Tour, so I was stringing my 98 quite tight, and what I've done is now drop the tension in my 98 Tour because I was losing some of that easy access to power. So I dropped the tension, now stringing at 50. It probably plays best at about 48 if I'm honest, but I like for it to drop in there. Otherwise, if I string at 48, it'll be down at 46, 45 before you know it, and then got to restring. So down at 50, you get so much easy access to power. That comes back with the looser poly strings, loads of spin still, surprisingly so for a power racket. Obviously that great power, and like I've said before, same as the standard EZONE 98, is that you get control out of this power racket like you don't with any others, and that's why it's my #1 racket. So the reason for going for the EZONE over the other Yonex rackets is back to what I said about the T-Fight, is that it's fun. To me, it is the most fun. You get power with all the other bits, but the EZONE to me is the most fun in the Yonex range, in a really, really quality range of rackets. So there you have it. Yonex is the most impressive brand to me, my favorite brand, and my #1 racket is the EZONE 98 Tour. Thanks for watching. If you like the channel and you'd like to know more, please subscribe, set those notifications up, and never miss a thing from PH Tennis.